Algebra 2, Lesson 8, Graphing Linear Equations. The first example we're going to use is 8.1 from the book, and they tell us to graph the equation 2x plus 3y equals 6. Before we can graph, we need to solve the equation for y to put it in y-intercept form. So first we're going to move 2x to the other side by subtracting it from each side. So then we get 3y, not x, 3y. We get 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 6. From there we divide by 3, so that becomes 2/3 x, and that becomes 6 over 3. To simply put it, our equation is now y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. From there we're going to create an xy table. Just put x on one side, y on the other side, and what we're going to do is we're going to pick values of x to plug into this equation so we can get a value for y on the graph. Really good values to use is use your denominator. If your slope has a denominator, use that as your base number, and then use the positive and the negative of that number along with 0. So we'll start with, since our denominator is 3, we'll go with 3, negative 3, and 0. What this does is this will give us nice even whole numbers when we go to graph. So if we plug in a value of positive 3 into this equation, we're going to get negative 2/3 times 3 over 1 plus 2. So for positive 3, these will cross cancel. That'll give us negative 2 plus 2, which is equal to 0. So at positive 3, y will equal 0. Next, negative 3, we'll take negative 2 over 3 times negative 3 over 1 plus 2. That's going to cancel, but then the negative times the negative gives us a positive 2 plus 2, which gives us a value of 4. So at negative 3, the graph will read 4. Lastly, for 0, negative 2/3 times 0 plus 2. Anything times 0 is going to equal 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. So at 0, the graph will read 2. Next, all we have to do is plot these 3 points to get our line. So, starting with 3, 0, we'll go over 1, 2, 3, and 0 on the y-axis gives us that point right there. Next, negative 3, 4. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, and then positive 1, 2, 3, 4 gives us that point right there. And lastly, 0, 2. So from 0, 1, and 2 gives us that point right there. And I'll take a straight edge and draw my line. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're doing this with freehand, but should be pretty close. And that is the graph of our line. Next one, we're going to do the same thing using slope-intercept method. So again, we got to begin by solving our equation for y. Subtract 3x from each side. That gives us 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Divide each side by 4. That cancels, and then we get y equals negative 3/4 x plus 12 over 4 reduces to 3. Now, to use slope-intercept method, we're going to use our knowledge of this number and this number. This number, the coefficient of x, is referred to as our slope, or m. So m is going to be equal to negative 3 over 4, and that's also written as the rise over the run, or the y over the x. And then this number, positive 3, is equal to b, or our y-intercept. So, since b is our y-intercept at positive 3, the graph will touch the y-axis at positive 3. So whatever this number is, I know the graph is going to cut through that point. Now that I know my slope is a negative 3 over 4, negative meaning that it's going to go down instead of up, it'll be going down. I go for my point, and then I go down 1, 2, 3, and then I go over 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the next point on my graph. And then I'll do that again. I'll go down 1, 2, 3, and then over another 1, 2, 3, 4 to get the next point on my graph. Now that I've got 3 points, I can go ahead and graph my line, and I am done.